Hello there, and welcome. Welcome to this quiet space, a place for your mind to rest and wander. Tonight, we're going to drift together, drift into the ever-changing world of weather. There is nothing you need to do now, nothing at all but rest. Settle in, find a comfortable position, and take a slow, deep breath in and a long, soft breath out. Allow your mind to gently wander with me into the fascinating, sleepy world of weather. The sky above our heads might seem simple at a glance, a plain blue canvas or a blanket of gray, but it is so much more. It is a place full of quiet chaos and deep wonder. Imagine it now as a living ocean of air, an endless, invisible sea that surrounds us every single day. This ocean is always in motion, rippling with gentle winds, painted with soft, drifting clouds, and stirred by invisible rivers of heat that rise and fall like the quietest of tides. In this fragile, beautiful system, the ordinary becomes magical. Sunlight doesn't just illuminate, it scatters into a perfect spectrum of colors. Storms are born that can travel across entire oceans, vast and slow-moving engines of nature's. Weather is not just the mood of our planet, it is its breath, its slow, steady heartbeat, its gentle, timeless song. As we begin this journey, let your own breath find that same rhythm, slow and steady. There's no need to focus too hard. Just let my voice be a gentle guide. As you settle in, breathe deeply, and allow your thoughts to drift. Let's begin our gentle exploration, letting the wonders of the sky lull you into a deep and peaceful rest. Let your mind drift upward now, into that vast ocean of air. Picture a single cloud floating by on a warm afternoon. When you look up at a drifting cloud, it seems so soft and completely weightless, doesn't it? Almost like cotton, pulled gently across the deep blue of the sky. It moves with such grace, such effortless ease, that it seems to be made of nothing more than a dream. But the truth is astonishing, a beautiful secret held within that soft shape. A single, typical cumulus cloud, the kind that lazily floats on a summer day, can hold hundreds of thousands of tons of water. Can you imagine? It is a weight almost too great to comprehend. A single storm cloud can weigh more than 1,000,000 elephants. All of those tiny droplets, too small to be seen individually, add up to an unimaginable mass. Picture 1,000,000 elephants standing side by side. The cloud is heavier than that, and yet a cloud carrying that same unimaginable mass floats. It floats, suspended in the air, a perfect paradox of weight and weightlessness. This is because the water is spread out into countless microscopic droplets, and each tiny, invisible drop is carried upward by gentle currents of rising warm air. The sight of something so immense and heavy appearing, so delicate and ethereal, is one of the great, peaceful paradoxes of the weather. So the next time you happen to watch a cloud drift lazily overhead, perhaps in a dream tonight, remember its gentle secret. Remember that it carries the weight of entire lakes in its soft, silent embrace. And just like that cloud, you can let your own worries, your own heavy thoughts, become weightless, letting them drift away, floating peacefully into the quiet of the night. Now, as our journey continues, imagine the sky begins to darken, the clouds grow heavy, and a storm begins to gather. In the blink of an eye, a jagged bolt of lightning splits the sky. It looks like pure, white fire, a brilliant crack in the darkness, but its true nature is even more startling. A single lightning strike can reach over 30,000 degrees Celsius, making it several times hotter than the surface of the sun. The energy involved is staggering. It is powerful enough to superheat the air around it, turning it into a glowing plasma and igniting the sky with blinding brilliance. Each flash of lightning is like nature's own fleeting experiment, compressing unimaginable heat and energy into a fraction of a second. Some of these bolts travel for miles, connecting the sky and the ground in a shimmering, momentary chain of light. And then comes the sound, the deep, rolling voice of the storm. The sound of thunder is the sound of air exploding from that sudden, intense heat. When lightning flashes, it heats the air so quickly and so intensely that the molecules expand in a violent rush. This rush creates a shock wave that races through the air, and that shock wave is what we hear as thunder. What we are really hearing is the voice of lightning. Depending on how far away you are, the sound may be a sharp crack or a low, deep rumble that echoes between hills and buildings. Because light travels so much faster than sound, we always see the flash long before the noise reaches our ears, which is why you can count the seconds between the lightning and the thunder to know how far away the storm is. Thunder is both a warning and a wonder, a deep, rolling rhythm of the storm, reminding us of the immense forces at play above us. But for you, here, now, it is just a distant, sleepy rumble, a deep, lulling sound that signals it is time to rest, time to let go. As the storm settles in, the first drops of rain begin to fall. Think for a moment about the shape of a raindrop. In our minds and in children's drawings, we often picture raindrops as perfect teardrops, pointed at the top and rounded at the bottom. It's a familiar, comforting shape, but in reality, raindrops are nothing like that at all. This simple detail makes the rain even more beautiful and fascinating. The very smallest drops, the tiny ones that form a mist, are almost perfectly spherical, held in their round shape by the gentle force of surface tension. They are like tiny floating jewels. As they grow larger and fall faster, the resistance of the air begins to press against them, flattening their bottoms. This gives them a shape that is much more like a tiny hamburger bun than a teardrop, a soft, rounded top and a flat bottom, tumbling as they descend. If a raindrop grows too large, it can no longer hold its shape and breaks apart into smaller droplets, beginning the cycle anew. The illusion of the teardrop shape comes from how we see water falling on a window pane or on our cheeks, stretched by gravity as it slides downward. But the real raindrops, the ones drifting down onto fields, roofs, and rivers, carry their own hidden, secret geometry. Imagine each drop tumbling from the sky in its own perfect, rounded form, not the sharp shapes we imagine, but soft, rounded jewels of water. Listen to the sound of that gentle rain now, a soft, steady rhythm on the roof above, each drop a tiny, perfect sphere, a calming, repetitive sound that washes away the day, helping you drift deeper and deeper into sleep. With the falling rain comes one of the most comforting and familiar fragrances in all of nature, the smell of rain. There is even a special word for this earthy, wonderful scent that rises after a rainstorm, petrichor. This beautiful scent is created by a blend of remarkable natural ingredients, a perfume mixed by the earth and the sky. Imagine a long, dry spell, weeks without rain. During this time, tiny plants release special oils into the dry soil and rock. The earth patiently holds on to these oils, waiting. When the first raindrops finally strike the ground, they trap tiny air bubbles in the soil that carry these fragrant oils up into the air, releasing them for us to breathe in. At the very same time, another compound, a substance called jasmine, fills the air. It is produced by microbes that live in the soil, and it gives the air its rich, deeply earthy perfume. And during the storm itself, the immense energy of lightning can split molecules of oxygen and nitrogen in the air, creating ozone, which adds a sharp, clean, fresh note to the mix. The result is the unmistakable smell of rain, a scent tied to ancient soils, living microbes, and the very chemistry of the sky itself. When you inhale that fragrance, you are breathing in a story as old as the earth and as wide as the atmosphere. So breathe in now, a deep, calming breath, and imagine that clean, earthy scent, a scent that means renewal, release, and deep, peaceful rest. Let it fill your senses and carry you further down into quiet slumber. Let the rain now slowly transform. As the air grows colder, the tiny drops of water begin to freeze high in the atmosphere, and the world prepares for the quiet magic of snow. We often picture snow drifting down silently, each delicate flake twirling in slow motion as it descends. And while some snowflakes do float this gently, others can fall surprisingly fast. Their speed all depends on their unique size and intricate structure. Small, delicate ice crystals may descend at just a tiny fraction of a meter per second, hovering in the air, as if they are reluctant to finally land. But larger flakes, the ones made of many different crystals stuck together, can tumble down much more quickly, at speeds closer to a few meters per second. The wind currents complicate this dance even further, tossing the flakes sideways, upward, and in gentle spirals. In some cases, a single snowflake can be carried for miles on these invisible rivers of air before it finally reaches the ground. And the size of these flakes can be just as varied. Most snowflakes are small, delicate crystals, no bigger than your fingernail. But under the perfect conditions, they can grow to extraordinary sizes. Moist air, gentle winds, and just the right temperature can allow flakes to stick together, forming huge clusters wider than a coin, or, in very rare cases, even as large as a dinner plate. The biggest snowflakes ever recorded were reported in Montana in the late 1800s, said to be an incredible 15 inches across. Imagine such immense, feathery flakes tumbling slowly from the sky. When you see snow falling, you are watching a beautiful, silent ballet, choreographed by air resistance, gravity, and the hidden, secret architecture of ice. Each descent is a unique and quiet journey, a peaceful trip through the atmosphere before settling into the soft, white hush of winter. Let your mind settle now, just as gently, just as quietly as a snowflake coming to rest. The cold air of the upper atmosphere holds other frozen wonders. Within the powerful updrafts of a thunderstorm, raindrops can be carried high up into the coldest layers of a cloud, where they freeze into tiny pellets of ice. But their journey doesn't end there. These tiny ice pellets may fall back down, gather more water, and then be lifted high into the storm once again, freezing layer upon layer in the process. This cycle can repeat over and over. By the time they finally fall to earth, these hailstones may carry within them dozens of concentric rings, like the growth rings of a tree or the delicate layers of an onion. If you were to slice one open, it would reveal its hidden history, each layer a record of a journey through the storm. Most hailstones are small, no larger than peas, but they are natural sculptures carved by the turbulent breath of the clouds. Sometimes, however, these sculptures can become immense. The largest hail ever recorded was bigger than a volleyball. In July of 2010, in a small town in South Dakota, an astonishing piece of hail fell from the sky. It was nearly the size of a volleyball, measuring 8 inches across and weighing almost 2 pounds. It remains the largest hailstone ever measured in the United States. Now, imagine a different kind of ice, one that forms not in violence, but in stillness. On a cold, clear winter morning, frost paints delicate patterns on window panes, curling leaves, fern-like tendrils, and shimmering lace. These are ice crystals forming as water vapor. In the air freezes directly onto a cold surface. It is the quietest art form, a forest of ice born from nothing more than cold air and the moisture in our own breath. Let your mind focus on these delicate, beautiful forms, letting the intricate patterns lead you deeper into rest. The air is rarely still. It is always moving, from a gentle breeze to a powerful gale. When wind and snow combine, they create a blizzard, a blinding wall of white. In the middle of a true blizzard, visibility can drop to just a few feet. Travelers caught in such conditions sometimes describe being unable to see their own hands held out in front of them. The snow is whipped into the air by powerful gusts, creating a swirling whiteout where all sense of direction vanishes. It is a storm that transforms the world into a blank canvas of white, where silence and chaos exist at the very same time. But wind can be powerful, even on a clear, hot day. On a dry afternoon, the ground can heat unevenly, sending columns of warm air spiraling upward. Sometimes, this rising air begins to spin, picking up dust and sand, forming a dust devil. Most are small, but some can grow to astonishing heights, twisting towers of dust that rise taller than skyscrapers. Unlike tornadoes, they form under clear skies, dancing across deserts and fields. To watch one is to see the invisible currents of heat and air made suddenly and dramatically visible. Now, imagine standing on a shoreline and seeing a slender, twisting column rise from the sea, stretching all the way up to the clouds above. This is a water spout, a vortex of air and mist, shaped like a tornado, but formed over water. From a distance, they can be strangely beautiful, spirals of silver mist gliding across the sea. They are reminders that even the calm, open sea can suddenly twist into a whirling tower, reaching for the sky. The air is always moving, a gentle, sighing breath around you now, rocking you softly into sleep. Among nature's most astonishing forces are tornadoes, twisting across the land with winds so strong they can turn the ordinary into the unthinkable. There is a strange piece of tornado lore that is actually true. Lightweight straw, when caught in the grip of a tornado, can be driven straight through solid wood. The winds accelerate debris to such extraordinary speeds that even the gentlest objects become piercing projectiles. Pieces of straw have been found embedded deep in fence posts and even the walls of houses after a storm has passed. It's a reminder of just how violent the air can become when it spins into a vortex. The speed of these winds is almost beyond comprehension. The most intense tornadoes, called EF5s, have winds measured at more than 300 miles per hour, comparable to the cruising speed of a passenger jet. In such winds, entire buildings can vanish from their foundations. Storm chasers who have survived close encounters describe the roar of these winds as sounding like a freight train, bearing down, unstoppable, and immense. Thankfully, tornadoes of this intensity are rare, but they are the planet's most concentrated bursts of atmospheric fury. Let your mind think of that power, not with fear, but with awe. And then, let that thought soften. Let the spinning vortex slow down in your mind, becoming a gentle, turning spiral, slower and slower, until it is just a soft, turning breeze that quiets your mind and deepens your rest. Let us move now from the land to the vast expanse of the ocean, where the mightiest storms are born. A hurricane is a storm on a scale that almost defies comprehension, spanning hundreds of miles. It is fueled by warm ocean waters, gathering moisture and heat, and building itself into a vast, spinning engine. The energy released in a single day by a mature hurricane is greater than the energy used by all of humanity's power plants combined. Most of this incredible energy is released as heat, carried away as billions of raindrops condense, while the rest is unleashed as fierce winds and pounding waves. From space, satellites can only begin to capture its swirling immensity. It is Earth's most spectacular weather machine. And yet, at the very heart of this violent, churning storm lies a place of uncanny calm. If you could step into the eye of a hurricane, you would find something almost unbelievable. After hours of howling winds and torrential rain, a sudden, profound silence falls. The air clears, the clouds part, and sometimes the sun or stars even shine through. This is the eye, a circular region at the heart of the storm, often 20 to 40 miles wide. Here, the winds grow calm and the sea surface steadies. The eye is like the still heart of a spinning wheel, calm only because the chaos rages so fiercely all around it. Imagine that stillness now. Let your own mind become the eye of the storm. Let all the busy, swirling thoughts of the day be the storm walls, far away from your center. And at your core, there is only calm, peace, and a deep, quiet stillness. Rest in that stillness now. Weather is not always a fleeting storm. Sometimes it is a rhythm that defines an entire year. In many parts of the world, life is tied to the ancient rhythm of the monsoon. These are vast, seasonal winds that completely shift their direction, bringing with them immense and life-giving rains. For months, parched lands may lie dry and cracked, waiting patiently for relief. Then, almost as if overnight, the skies open up, rivers begin to swell, fields flood with water, and entire forests come alive with a vibrant, sudden green. The monsoon rains are both life-giving and destructive. They water the crops that feed hundreds of millions of people, but they can also unleash floods and landslides that reshape the very land itself. In places like India, Southeast Asia, and parts of Africa, whole cultures and histories have grown in perfect harmony with the cycle of the monsoon. Farmers plant their seeds and harvest their crops according to its timing, and festivals are held to celebrate its long-awaited arrival. To witness a monsoon is to see weather on a continental scale, a turning of the entire atmosphere so vast that it changes the face of nations. Think of that rhythm now, the slow, patient waiting of the dry season, and then the deep, profound release of the wet season. It is a cycle of waiting, and receiving. Let your own breath be like the monsoon, a deep, life-giving rhythm that washes over you, bringing peace and deep, restorative sleep. The Earth's weather is not spread evenly. Some places drown in rain, while others thirst for it endlessly. Let's travel first to the driest non-polar desert on Earth, the Atacama, which stretches across northern Chile. Some weather stations in the Atacama have never recorded a single drop of rain, and parts of this desert may go for decades without any measurable precipitation. The soil is so barren that NASA has studied it as an analog for the surface of Mars. To stand in the Atacama is to feel the profound silence of a place almost untouched by weather, where every drop of water is a miracle. Now, let us journey to the opposite extreme, to a small village in northeastern India called Mausinram, often called the wettest inhabited place on Earth. Each year, monsoon winds from the Bay of Bengal funnel into the surrounding hills, forcing the moist air to rise. The result is an astonishing average rainfall of nearly 12 meters per year. Imagine rain so heavy that rivers roar down streets, and the sound of water is a constant companion. Villagers have learned to weave bridges from the living roots of trees to cross the swollen streams. Life here is shaped entirely by the abundance of water. From a land that never sees rain to one that is defined by it, your mind can travel to these places as you lie here. Feel the dry, silent heat of the desert, and then feel the cool, cleansing wash of endless rain. Let your mind find that place of balance now, perfectly comfortable, perfectly still, drifting deeper and deeper. Just as rainfall varies, so does the Earth's temperature, reaching incredible extremes. Let us visit the hottest temperature ever reliably recorded on Earth. In July of 1913, in Death Valley, California, a furnace-like wind swept across the desert floor. The official temperature measured that day was 56.7 C, 134 Fs. At such heat, the body struggles to shed warmth, and survival becomes difficult. The air itself can feel like a blazing, deadly furnace. Death Valley earned its name from such extremes, where heat rises off the rocks in shimmering waves. Now, let us travel to the opposite end of the spectrum, to the frozen heart of our planet. At the center of Antarctica lies a high plateau, far from any sea, where the air itself feels alien. Here, in 1983, at Vostok Station, scientists recorded a temperature of 89.2 C, which is colder than dry ice and cold enough to make steel brittle. In such conditions, breath freezes into crystals, and exposed skin can freeze solid almost instantly. This is colder than the average surface of Mars. It is the ultimate frontier of cold, where Earth's atmosphere meets its most extreme and profound silence. From the blazing furnace to the frozen silence, these extremes remind us of the atmosphere's incredible power. But you are not in either of those places. You are here, safe and comfortable. The temperature around you is perfect for rest. Not too hot, not too cold. Just a gentle, comfortable stillness that allows your body to relax completely and sink into a deep, peaceful sleep. Not all dangerous weather is loud and violent. Some of the most profound weather events are quiet and slow. Consider the heat wave. Storms and floods often make the headlines, but the deadliest form of weather is far quieter. When the air grows still and temperatures soar for days on end, it creates a silent, creeping threat with devastating power. Consider fog, another of weather's quietest tricks. Fog is simply a cloud that has lowered itself to the ground, wrapping the world in a pale, soft silence. In rare cases, fog can become so dense that visibility shrinks to just a few feet, and people walking through it have described being unable to see their own feet clearly. To walk through such a fog can feel otherworldly, like moving inside a dream where the edges of reality have dissolved. And then there is the quiet danger of an ice storm. There is a strange beauty in an ice storm, but it is a beauty edged with peril. It occurs when rain falls through a layer of freezing air near the ground, turning to a supercooled liquid that freezes the instant it touches any surface. Every twig and blade of grass becomes encased in a shimmering layer of glass. It is weather at its most deceptive, breathtakingly beautiful, but perilous. These quiet forms of weather remind us to be still. Let that feeling of stillness wash over you now, a deep, quiet calm that stills your mind and body. All over the world, animals are in motion, guided by the weather. Their great migrations are among the most extraordinary spectacles in nature, and the weather is the unseen compass that guides them on their way. Birds chase the warmth of the sun as seasons change, while great whales follow shifting seas. Every autumn, millions of monarch butterflies embark on one of the longest migrations in the insect world, traveling up to 3,000 miles from Canada and the northern United States to forests in central Mexico. Their fragile wings carry them across a continent, guided in part by the sun, the magnetic field, and the weather. They ride tailwinds when possible to save energy and wait out storms when conditions are too fierce. High above, large birds, like hawks and eagles, often soar without flapping their wings, circling gracefully, as though suspended by invisible currents. These currents are thermals, rising columns of warm air created when the sun heats the ground unevenly. By finding one thermal after another, these birds can glide for hours, conserving their energy on long migrations. They are navigating an invisible map made of weather. You too are on a journey tonight, a journey into sleep. You can travel effortlessly, just like those birds, drifting on the gentle currents of your own breath, letting them carry you all the way to deep rest. The Earth's systems are all deeply interconnected. Weather does not exist in isolation. When a volcano erupts with immense force, its effects can be felt across the entire world. Explosive eruptions blast ash and gases high into the stratosphere, where powerful winds can spread them around the globe. Tiny particles of sulfur dioxide can linger for months or even years, reflecting sunlight back into space and gently cooling the entire planet. The 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora caused what became known as the Year Without a Summer, bringing frost and famine across the northern hemisphere. A mountain's fury can alter the balance of sunlight and air worldwide. The desert and the rainforest are also connected in an unexpected way. Every year, winds lift millions of tons of fine dust from the Sahara Desert, carrying it high into the atmosphere. These vast dust clouds travel all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, a journey of thousands of miles. Eventually, much of this dust falls onto the Amazon rainforest, where it delivers essential nutrients, particularly phosphorus, that enrich the soil. The idea that one of the driest places on Earth helps to feed one of the wettest is a powerful reminder of our planet's hidden connections. Everything is connected: the land, the sea, the air. You are connected to the quiet of this moment. Feel that connection now. Feel the support beneath you and the stillness around you. You are part of this vast, interconnected system, and you can rest, knowing you are held safely within it. Our weather is not just a product of the Earth, it is also touched by the cosmos. High above the polar regions, shimmering curtains of green, purple, and red light dance across the night sky. These are the northern lights, or the aurora borealis. Though they look like earthly weather, their origin is cosmic. Streams of charged particles flow constantly from the sun and collide with Earth's magnetic field, funneling down toward the poles. When these solar particles strike atoms in our upper atmosphere, they excite them, causing them to glow with beautiful, shifting ribbons of light. This is not just Earth's weather, but space weather. It is cosmic poetry, written in silent, shimmering light across the night sky. Sometimes, on very cold days, you might see a different kind of cosmic light, bright spots sparkling on either side of the sun, like phantom suns. These are called sundogs, and they form when sunlight bends through millions of hexagonal ice crystals floating high in the clouds, sometimes creating the illusion of three suns in the sky. Imagine that sight now, the silent, dancing lights of the aurora or the triple glow of a winter sun. Let these beautiful, cosmic images fill your mind as you drift even deeper into a peaceful, starry sleep. We are not just observers of the weather, we are a part of it too. Even our smallest actions can ripple outward. Look up on a clear day, and you may see the long, thin trails left behind by airplanes. These are contrails, formed when exhaust mixes with cold, moist air. They can linger and spread, merging into thin clouds that can alter the local weather by changing how sunlight and heat move through the atmosphere. In some regions, this has been shown to increase cloud cover, subtly warming the nights and cooling the days. Our cities also create their own weather. Asphalt, concrete, and steel soak up the sun's energy during the day and release it slowly at night, keeping temperatures several degrees warmer than the surrounding countryside. This creates what are called urban heat islands. Even air pollution can change the sky's appearance, making sunsets glow with an unreal intensity. Tiny particles of dust, smoke, or pollution in the atmosphere scatter shorter wavelengths of light, allowing only the deeper reds and oranges to reach our eyes. Every sunset is a collaboration between sunlight and the air, shaped by the particles drifting unseen above us. These are gentle reminders that we are intertwined with the sky, a part of its ever-changing story. For all of history, we have tried to understand the weather. Not long ago, this was little more than guesswork, with farmers relying on old sayings and sailors looking to the color of the sky. The old rhyme, red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky in morning, sailors take warning, actually has roots in real atmospheric science. A red sky at sunset often means that dry, stable air is approaching from the west, suggesting fair weather ahead. Today, our ability to forecast is more accurate than at any time in history. High above the Earth, an invisible fleet of satellites orbits silently, watching the entire planet. They track cloud movements, measure temperatures, and peer into the hearts of storms. This constant vigilance has transformed forecasting, allowing us to predict major storms days in advance and save countless lives. And yet, for all our technology, the weather remains a master of surprise. The atmosphere is a chaotic system, exquisitely sensitive to the smallest of changes. This is sometimes called the butterfly effect, the idea that even the faintest flutter can eventually tip the balance of weather systems far away. This unpredictability is not a flaw, it is a fundamental truth of nature. The sky will always hold mysteries, a source of endless wonder that allows your mind to relax and simply let go. And so, our long, sleepy journey through the endless sky draws to a close. We have drifted through storms and sunlight, through clouds that weigh as much as mountains, and raindrops shaped by unseen forces. We have seen that weather is not just a backdrop to our days. It is a living rhythm that shapes land, life, and history. It is chaos and pattern, danger and beauty, a reminder that the earth is alive beneath our feet and above our heads. Beneath the blue dome of our sky, weather is in constant motion. Winds turn, clouds form and dissolve, rains fall, and sunlight breaks through again. Every gust, every drop, every shimmer of light is part of a living system that is restless and endlessly renewing. To watch the sky is to feel the very pulse of the planet. Even in the stillness of the night, the atmosphere never truly rests. It is the great, silent breath of the planet, circling endlessly, carrying the seeds of tomorrow's storms and the calm of tomorrow's dawn. As you drift now towards sleep, let the thought of the weather be a deep comfort. Its endless cycles remind us that change is natural, that after every storm comes calm, and that nothing ever stands still forever. Rest now in the quiet rhythm of the sky, in the gentle hush of the earth's heartbeat, and in the peaceful knowledge that you are a part of this vast, ever-changing, beautiful story. May your dreams drift as gently as clouds on a soft breeze. Good night.